All right, what is up, everybody? We are back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one today. We're going to be talking about Victor Wembanyama. He dropped a 50 piece last night, and yeah, he's been really good the last couple games. We're going to talk a lot about Wemby, about his slow start to the season, about the media on Wemby, just everything about Victor Wembanyama in general in this video. Just a Victor Wembanyama video, basically, is what we're doing here today. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. It really helps out a lot. Join the membership. If you want to learn more about the membership, there's a video on my channel explaining all of it. You can go back and watch that. Link to my Twitters, all that stuff down in the description below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So, Victor Wembanyama. There's a lot to say about Victor Wembanyama. First, we'll start with last night. He was absolutely incredible against the Wizards. Gave you 50 points. 18 for 29 from the field, 8 for 16 from 3, 6 for 9 from the free throw line. I think he said has the fastest 50-point game in NBA history. He only played in 26 minutes, and had 50 at the time. But then he had to come back into the game, in the fourth quarter because they brought it down to within like 10 or 9. So it's actually 32 minutes. So unfortunately, he doesn't have that title, but still a really impressive game from Wemby and a breakout performance kind of when he was. There's a lot of talk about him, especially early in the season. We're going to talk about that. That's the first thing we're going to start with is the slow start from Wemby. There's a lot of, pressure. We all know there's a lot of pressure in a sense on Wemby from the media or from everybody. Does he take it into his own right or an account and he's like, I got to put pressure on myself? Yeah, but it's different than the pressure that I feel like the media puts on him, obviously. I mean, was probably the most hyped prospect in NBA history. I mean, compared to LeBron, that's the only really comparison you can make. But he probably was one of the most hyped prospects, not even NBA, in sports history. I mean, a 7'4" unicorn, a guy that can shoot threes, can handle the ball, can defend it the way he does. Like a 7'4" guy that literally is a my career created player. Like literally this is something you would create in 2K. You would make a 7'4", 7'5" demigod type of play. Like this is a 2K creation. This isn't real. His nickname is the Alien for a reason. This is not someone we've ever seen ever. This is not an archetype or anything we've ever seen ever and might not ever see for a very, very long time. Like you could say that. Like Wemby is a one of a kind type of player. He's an alien, literally. You know? And so hyped up, super hyped up, no doubt number one pick. Whoever get that number one pick, it was gonna draft him and it was gonna change their franchise. The Spurs end up getting him, which was everyone felt like that was a perfect thing, for Wemby going to the Spurs, going with Greg Popovich, that amazing first class organization. He's gonna have such a big rookie year, and then he came out last year in the rookie year and had an even better year than people expected. Unanimous rookie of the year, second in DPOY voting. It was Wemby mania, obviously, and coming into this season, the expectations were even higher. Now it's like I even said it probably in one of my prediction video or something like that. I had a quote probably saying like, if Victor Wembanyama isn't an All Star this year, people are going to be disappointed, which is crazy to say about a 20-year-old in his second season in the NBA. If he does not make the All Star team this year, people are going to be very disappointed. You know, it's just crazy, like the literally crazy. I mean, he's the favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year. ESPN ranked him as a top 12 player in the NBA already. People are already putting him on their All NBA stuff. Could he be an MVP in his third season? Like it's crazy. The media expectation on Victor Wembanyama is absolutely insane, which you understand because again we know that a lot of the faces of our league in the past couple years are on their way out. LeBron James is about to be 40. Steph is 36. KD is 38. You know, the 2010s, that generation of stars is on its way out soon. And another maybe by 2028, 2027, 2028, a lot of those guys, if not all those guys, probably won't be around anymore. It's going to be a new NBA. And we've been trying to find kind of like the face of our new NBA. Like, okay, when LeBron and KD, when all them are gone, who's it going to be? Giannis, obviously, but he's also going to be in his 30s. Jokic might win a fourth MVP this year. Joel Embiid, even though he might not be the most liked, But then it's like, all right, but those guys are going to be in their 30s too by that point. So who's going to be the young 26, 25-year-olds? The young guys are going to take over this league. Luka Doncic, Shai Alexander, Anthony Edwards. But then when Wemby came, it was like, oh, it's going to be Wemby. Wemby is going to be the guy because everyone assumes he's going to be the guy that's going to be at the top all the time. He's going to win multiple awards. He's going to be an all-star. He's going to be an all-NBA. He's going to be must-see TV. It's going to be Victor Wembanyama. Like, and I understand that idea, and I understand, wanting to see it happen. Eventually at some point, I mean, we all know at some point he's gonna do that. At some point, he's gonna be a top 5 player in the league. He's gonna be this star caliber guy. We all know that. It's just a matter. It's not a matter of if. It's a matter of when, obviously. But I think we're going a little bit too off the rails in terms of we need it right now. Like at 20 years old, he needs to be this type of guy, which I think is a little bit unfair, in a sense that when have we ever seen a 20-year-old in his second year really be like that? You know, like maybe you could say probably Jordan, but even then, Jordan didn't come in the league at 19. Jordan was like probably what, 24 in his second season. I can look right now at Basketball Reference Open because I have a lot of stuff to say. Michael Jordan, his second year was 22. So yeah, 22. But even then, that year in his second season, he was hurt. He only played 18 games that year. you know, so like I guess LeBron probably after having a breaking year had a good second year. LeBron in his second season averaged 27, 7 and 7, All Star, All NBA second team. Okay, yeah, LeBron, and he was 20. So I guess LeBron, you could say Luca, I guess in his second year was amazing. Luca averaged, yeah, Luca 28, 9 and 8, finished top 5 in MVP, All NBA first team in his second year at 20. So, I mean, there's been a couple times, obviously. LeBron, Luca, probably some other people like Magic Johnson, like back in the 80s. But, like, okay, you have 5 examples out of how many people that have stepped into the NBA like that? And how many people also have won Rookie of the Year that haven't had those expectations in the second year? But then again, also, you understand the expectation because it's Victor Wembanyama, and we've seen what he did in his rookie season. But I just think it's a little bit unfair that we're putting all this stuff on a 20-year-old and kind of setting him up to fail. We're setting him up to kind of, so when he doesn't hit that level, which is okay for a guy at 20 years old in the second year to not be a superstar yet, it's okay for that to not happen. It's gonna be like, oh man, this is a disappointment and all this stuff. So I just think the media has been a little bit too gung ho on Wemby being this guy, and combine that with the slow start he had in the first couple games of the season, things did not look very bright. People were worried about Wemby, worried about him shooting too much, worried about this, worried about that. People were worried, after a slow start. And now he's kind of, starting to shoot up. Now he's starting to have a couple games in a row, and now we're back, basically. Wemby just needed some time. And I just think I kind of want to make this video to tell everybody, hey, calm down. Calm down. All right. Wemby will be just okay. Okay. And we're going to look at some of the stats and stuff to show why it'll be okay. Because if you remember last year, his rookie season last year wasn't like he didn't come off the jump going crazy. I compared this year's stats to last year's stats and look at numbers and all this stuff. So far this year, in the first 9 games of the season, so we're not counting the last 3 games. In the first 9 games of this season, Vic averaged 17 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, almost 4 blocks on 41, 22, 91 shooting. Last year, he averaged almost 20 points per game with 8 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, 2 blocks on 46, 31, 76 shooting. So surprisingly, lower numbers. The scoring down. The only thing that's better this year than it was last year is the rebounds, the steals, blocks. Well, I guess actually everything is better. The rebounds are better, the assists are better, steals, blocks is better, and the free throw percentage. The free throw percentage is up to 91%. Last year, it was 76%, but also he took more free throws last year than he did this year. Last year, he took about 1.5 more free throws last year in the first 9 games than he did this year. But the scoring was down and the shooting was down on the same amount of shots. He took 15 shots per game the first 9 games of his career. He took 15 shots per game this year, and he's shooting 5% worse. Last year he shot 46%. This year he shot 41%. You also look at the 3-point attempts. Last year he took 5 3 attempts per game in his first 9 games. This year he's taking almost 7. and the percentage drops by almost 9. The 3-point shot was not falling. Look at his game log. His first 9 games: 1 for 8 from three, 2 for 5, 1 for 5, 0 for 3, 4 for 13, 1 for 7, 2 for 9, 1 for 6, 2 for 6, which is not great shooting numbers, and that's what got people really worried was the 3-point attempts. Especially look at the field goal attempts to the 3-point attempts. You know, in the first game of the season, he took 18 shots, 8 of them were threes. Another game, against OKC, he only took 5 shots, 3 of them were threes. Against Utah, he took 20 shots, 13 of them were threes. Against Minnesota, 15 shots, 7 of them for threes. So it's like he's taking almost basically half his shots are 3-point attempts. And people are kind of worried because he's 7 for 4. Why is he shooting that many threes? Shooting threes, sure, but shooting 7 threes per game at 7 for 4, what are you doing? you know. And I mean, we know how the game is played today, where 3-point shots are at a premium, the volume of threes is at a premium. Obviously, but that's a whole nother conversation, you know. But um, Wemby, I mean, we know he's capable of shooting threes. We see it last year. We know he's capable of it. Obviously, it's just a matter of when they're gonna hit. And people are worried: is he shooting too much? Is he settling too much for the 3-point shot? He's gonna start falling in love with the 3-point shot, you know. Um, and that was a big thing, really. And he was asked about that. He was asked like, why shoot threes or more? He was asked like, you're slumping from three. Like, what makes you keep shooting them? Are you worried about what's your approach? And he basically said, you know, I'm gonna keep playing my game. My game consists of shooting threes, and if I'm open, I'm gonna shoot them, and eventually they're gonna start falling. You know, and they are starting to fall. They are starting to fall. But I want to go back to last year. How I had the slow start. Last year, his first 9 games, he averaged again 28, 2 blocks. The shooting percentages were not great. In those 9 games, he had 4 20-point games, including a 38 and 10 game against Phoenix. This year, in his first 9 games, he's had 3 20-point games. A 29-point game against Houston was a season high. He also has had a 5-by-5 game in his first 9 games against Utah. A couple weeks ago on Halloween, he dropped 25, 9, 7, 5, and 5. So don't forget that he can do that still. But it was just a slow start. Everybody was kind of worried, and there were concerns definitely, not just the shooting threes, but there were some other things too. The strength still is a issue. Strength, he still needs to get stronger. There's been so many times this season where I've seen in the Sacramento game, the game before last night, he had so many times where he tried to get by Sabonis, and Sabonis just said no. Sabonis just wouldn't let him get by. The strength is still a factor that needs to, play in. He still needs to gain more weight. He still needs to put on some more muscle. You know, there's that. There was the fatigue. Especially in the first game against Dallas, he looked super tired. He looks from like the first quarter. He looked really like he was trying to catch his breath. He was like really like settling for a lot of shots. It did not look great. So maybe Wemby is just a guy that he's gonna just start slow all the time. He's not gonna come out and have a 40-point game first game of the season. Maybe he's a guy that just needs to take some time to really play himself into shape, play himself into that mode, and then he pops off. You also got to remember he played in the Olympics this year too. So he didn't have a full off season with it. He had to play in the Olympics, then had a little cool off before coming to the Spurs. So maybe that could play a factor. But you look at last year's rookie season, he didn't really start popping off his first month. His first month of the season until we're going from the first game of his NBA career to December 6th that year. So the first 19 games of his career, he averaged 19, 9, and 2, a steal, 2 blocks. He shot 43, 26, 81, which is solid for a rookie. That's really good, But it was a slow start. Once he hit December 8th, that's when he started going. His December 8th against Chicago, he had his first 20-20 game. He had a 21 point, 20 rebound, 4 block game. From then on out, for the rest of his rookie season, that's when Wemby mania went crazy. From that point on to the rest of the season, he averaged 22 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, and 4 blocks on 47, 34, 79 shooting. So it took about a month-ish, a month and like 2 weeks for Wemby to really start hitting his stride in his rookie season. And this year, it took the first 9 games for him to really start, ramping it up. But the last 3 games have been incredible. The last 3 games, he's averaging 36, 12, and 2 with 4 blocks on 59, 54, 77 shooting. Obviously it's only 3 games, but he's starting to take the turn. He's starting to hit more threes. The last 3 games, he's hit 20 threes. I'm sorry, wait. I'm sorry. No, yeah, I'm right. 23s in the last 2 games. 20. He's hit 23s in the past 2 games. In the first 9 games of the season, he hit, let's see, 4, 8, 9, 11, 12, 14. So he's hit more threes in the past 3 games than he did in the first 9. So the 3-point shot is starting to fall. And when the 3-point shot is falling for Wemby, you're not going to be able to stop him. Because we already know he can get easy buckets whenever he wants to. He doesn't do it all the time. But we know if his teammates find him in the paint, he's going to score or he's going to get fouled there. And he's been a pretty good free throw. He's a pretty good free throw shooter. You know, he's about, what is he shooting on the season from the free throw line? He's shooting 87%. So basically, he's going to make his free throws. When he's hitting the 3 ball, it's great. Also, I really like that he's tapping more into the mid-range game. The last couple games, he's been a lot more pull-up mid-ranges and a lot more, facing up mid-ranges, which I think is a lot easier for him, and he's been knocking them down. So that's really, really nice to see, too. But, it was just a slow start, really. It just, shots weren't falling to start. Shots are falling now. And you saw it last night. It all culminated together for 50 points. So I just think everybody kind of needs to calm down on Victor Wembanyama, all right? Remember, he's 20 years old. Remember, he's in his second year in the NBA. And remember that, sometimes people go through cold spells. And Wemby just started the year on a cold spell. But now, I assume that, especially after this 50-point game, now he's going to come out and he's going to ball out. And now we're going to see the real Victor Wembanyama. And now people are going to be happy. And now we're going to get the star Vic that we're trying to, find and we were hoping for to start the year. It just came a little bit later, which is okay. It's okay. Sometimes you start slow. Sometimes you go through a cold streak once in a while, and Wemby just went on a cold streak. And maybe this is just what Wemby is going to be. Maybe Wemby just is a guy that is going to start the year off kind of slow and has to work his way into, into shooting or work his way into shape. And if that's the case, then that's okay. As long as it's not for a whole 2 months. Last year it was a month. This year it's only 9 games. So maybe next year, if it's only the first 5 games, okay. If it takes a couple games to really get himself going, then that's what it is. That's what it takes. It takes a couple games to get him going. But as long as we get this type of Victor Wembanyama, if we have to take the couple games for him to not look good, for us to get this kind of Wemby that we've seen the last 3 games, then hey, Wemby, take your time. Do your thing. Take a couple games to really get yourself going. And now, here you go. So the shots are falling now. How long is this going to, keep going? I don't know. Realistically, we don't know. Maybe he goes to another cold streak. Who knows? He's 20 years old again. So it's going to happen sometimes. It's going to happen. But I'm very excited that he had that game last night. It was super, super fun to watch. Super exciting to see. And I just can't wait to watch the rest of Victor Wembanyama. I think everybody should just chill. Take it down a little notch. Just a little bit. You can still have high expectations. You can still want to see more. Cool. Just lower that gas a little bit. Just lower it a tiny bit. Not too much. Just a tiny, tiny, tiny little bit. Don't burn the place up. Just turn it down a little bit, and I think you'll be good. I think we'll be fine. Don't worry about Wemby. I'm not worried. You shouldn't worry either. He's gonna be okay. But yeah, it's gonna be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. It really helps out a lot. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.